Hello there. I want to talk about jointing the edge of a razor. I had a viewer ask me a question about, what do I do if I joint the edge of a razor or if I kill the edge of a razor, were the words that he used. Um, what do I do to bring the edge back? And the first thing that I would say is that I'm not criticizing anyone else's techniques or saying anybody's doing anything wrong or that my way is the only way to do it. Um, what I'm doing is I'm telling you what I do and why I do it, and you can make up your own mind what you think is correct for you. Um, and what this is what jointing is you would take, in my case, this is a gold dollar. You'll have to hang on. I'm not supposed to be using this hand, but I really can't open that with one hand. So anyway, and you would take the razor and put it along what I do is the corner of a stone. You could do it on the side. You could run it across the top. I think this is probably the best. And I would. Now this razor's shave ready, so I run it about 3 times across that and basically kill the edge. Now, a lot of people will tell you things like, well, let me talk about why I would do that first. It used to be that if I was, any razor that I had that was sent to me, a friend of mine said, hey, can you hone my razor? Because I don't hone for money, and I don't hone for other people very often. When I do, it's for someone who is a friend of mine that I choose to help. Okay, this is all crooked. I'm trying to. Anyway, I would always do that, and then start with a 1K stone and rehone the razor. But normally now, the reason that I would do that is I don't know the history of the razor, and most of the times when people would say, hey, I bought this razor at this thrift store or this flea market, or so and so gave me an old razor. They're always old vintage razors. And with a vintage razor, you don't know what has happened to that razor over the decades that it's had a lifespan. There could be all kinds of things wrong with the edge, up to and including somebody got it too hot. I'm drinking coffee, it's morning time, but somebody got it too hot and the temper's bad in it. It could have been stored with razors with old celluloid scales that had cell rot and or for other corrosion reasons or other reasons that are too varied for me to really go into. The steel at the edge could be what I would call rotten, and so you have to hone back to good steel before you can get a good edge on it. There's a whole lot of reasons why I would do that. The edge of the razor might have chips in it, that kind of deal, all kinds of things. Or I may not just be confident in the fact that the guy that was there before me actually truly set that bevel the way that he should have. And if I deliver a razor to someone that I honed, I want it to be the best I can get. And so I would kill that edge and go back to a 1K stone. I don't do it as much now because mostly all I hone is my own razors. and I know the bevel's been set by them. I know if there's been any kind of damage to those razors, that kind of thing. And it's not something that I recommend that you do to every razor that you hone. But anytime I have any suspicion that the razor might not be either able to take the edge I'm looking for, or it might not, it might be suspect in some way, I'll joint the edge. Now, remember I said, and then I would go to a 1K stone. That is still the case. I know that and have heard discussions about, or read discussions about, not heard, on the internet, people saying, well, you can joint the edge of the razor and go to a 5K and bring it back, or a 3K and bring it back. And yeah, you probably could. If you stay on those stones long enough, or hone aggressively enough, you could bring it back. The problem that I have with that is that when you're running, and this is the way I think, I'm not saying it, like I said, I'm not saying anybody's wrong. This is what I do. If what I do sounds right to you, good. If it doesn't, go find someone else that you trust. Okay, that's the best way I can say it. But when I take this razor and I pull that edge along that stone, what I'm actually doing is I'm flattening out, and this razor, this stone has abrasive, 1,000 grit abrasive in it. Okay, so that apex is dull, it's flattened, or it's rounded. It's basically gone. And I'm not going to fool around with a 3K stone or a 5K stone to bring that back. I'm going to go back to a 1K, and I'm going to go all the way up to through the progression, just like this razor had never been honed before. And the reason for that is, if I deem a razor is a candidate to do that right there, then it was suspect from the start. Okay? Because I might do that if I have a razor that for some reason doesn't shave really good, even though I know the edge is beautiful, and I can look at the edge through a loop and everything looks good. I might go back and do this and hone it again from bevel set until and go through all of the progression and try to shave with it again. And then if that fails, then you're into trying to calculate a bevel angle, what bevel angle the blade's got on it and stuff like that, because that would be my next suspicion, is that the bevel angle is too great and needs to be reduced in some way. So, but I'm going to try that first and see if that fixes the issue. Okay. So every razor you get is not a candidate for this unless you're like me and you're finding, oh, I don't do it anymore because I got all the razors I need now. But when I was first shaving with straight razors for several years, I would look at thrift stores and flea markets and garage sales and anywhere I could think of, antique stores, all kind of places, to find old vintage razors that I could restore. They always got that treatment because they were not in the best of shape. So that's the reasons that I would do that. And the reason that I would go back to a 1K. And so what I would do, you'll have to forgive me, I don't know how well this is going to work because I am left-handed, and the only hand I've got that does me any good right now is a right hand. So, but I would a little bit of torque, Normally I don't sharpen with the half strokes, but with a bevel set, you're removing a lot of metal to start with. Stand by. It's what it is, folks. I don't have anything else I can do. I'm going to look at the edge of this razor, make sure my honing is even, and it is. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lick my thumb, and that pulls, it digs into the thumbnail from the heel to the toe with no skips, no areas where it doesn't dig in or anything like that. That is the thumbnail test. Since I can't test on my arm, well, that passed the thumbnail test. I just checked the hair on this arm, but it does not pass hair cutting. So I am not satisfied that that razor is, the bevel is set on that razor. So we're going to go more. There we go. What I'm looking for, I know you can't see it, so you have to take my word for it. But this bevel is set. Now, that first time when I checked it with the thumbnail test, if I had come up here to my arm, I can't get it in the camera, but if I'd come up here to above this cast and went to see if it would cut hair, and you can see right there a clean patch of hair, missing hair. Okay, if I'd have done that and it cut hair after the thumbnail test, I still would have went to this stone and done 10 or so X-stroke laps, just so that if there was anything wrong with that bevel that was because of the thumbnail test, I could take care of it. And that's it. Okay, what you want is you want to bring this razor back. You saw how fast that was. Didn't take very long. Okay, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to you want the razor to shave hair with a simple push stroke, without any pressure, without any slicing motions or scything motions or anything like that. You want the razor from the toe to the heel, all the way, the entire length, with no areas where it's not cutting. You want the hair to almost jump away from the edge of that razor. That is a bevel set. Nothing else is. I don't give a flying flip what anybody says, and I'm not criticizing anybody, but if your razor will not, with a simple push cut really cleanly, with no pressure whatsoever, off of the 1K stone, along the entire length of the blade, your bevel is not properly set. And the thing of it is what we make a mistake with. It's knife sharpeners make the mistake, razor sharpeners make the mistake, okay? Woodworkers make that mistake when they go to sanding things to try to smooth things out. Is we will get it close and then we'll go, well, I'll just go on up to the next grit and sort it out there. The problem with that is this grid is more aggressive than the next grid is. And so what I could do on this might take me 2 or 3 times as long to do on the next grid up. And you're wasting time and causing more work for yourself. And so the thing with that is a lot of times people will get frustrated and they'll go, oh, I'm sure I got it. And then they'll go to shave that razor after they've done all that fine work in the progression of the stones, and it won't shave right. And, oh, well, I set the bevel. No, you did not. There aren't any shortcuts. You either set a bevel or you don't. Stay on the stone until the bevel is well and truly set. Then move up. Now, one other thing that I would mention. As you move up in progression, that wet thumbnail, that thumbnail test that I showed you, is not to be repeated past the 1K stone. Because once you start refining this edge, it's too delicate to run across your thumbnail. Your razor's not going to shave right. It's going to be ugly. You're not going to like it. So never use this thumbnail test after the 1K. That is only meant to tell you if you've got this edge completely set. And like I said, even after I do that, I'll come 10 or so X strokes with a little bit of forward torque on this stone before I move up, just to make absolutely sure I didn't do anything with that thumb during the thumbnail test that was detrimental to this edge. But that is what edge jointing is about. That's how I deal with it. If I joint the edge of a razor, I treat it as if it's never been honed. And I go from a bevel set all the way up. But you do you. If it works for you, it works for you. But this is the way that I found it works for me, because I've tried all that other and it didn't work out for me. This is what works. So this is what I do. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.